Well, there's all the stuff going on, with aliens and stuff, but the real question for our time is Lil Nas X country?
Mm.
So, if you're not
Or an
familiar with
alien
the
even.
or a country western alien,
Mm.
you have no idea. No, so there's this the latest thing is the song Old Town Road, which I'm sure we've all heard whether we want to or not at this point.
Do you like the song?
I absolutely hate that song,
Okay.
everything about it.
Okay.
And how about you?
Well, I love Nine Inch Nails. Absolutely love Nine Inch Nails, and that's where the sample came from. Is off a track called "On the Ghost" album.
Okay.
So my buddy Shane, he's like, "Dude, have you heard this new Old Town Road song? It's got a sample from Nine Inch Nails on it." And I put it on, and I was listening to it, and I'm like, "Man, this chorus is pretty good." And then the second that Lil Nas came in, it ruined it for me. It ruined it for me.
So I'll highly recommend, I'll shoot you a link. Mercules, his version of it is dope.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's great. Yeah. But so what happened was, apparently he made it to the top 10 on, I might even been number one. I don't know where he fell on it, when the country music billboard. And then they came out and they're like, this song isn't country. So they pulled it off of that. And now there's been a big controversy on whether or not it's racism, if that's why they pulled it off, if he was a white guy, or kind of why to do it. Where do you fall on it? Do you think this song should be included on a country music billboard?
Well, so this let me make this about me. About 10 years ago, me and my buddy Shane, we were working on a Western themed album. The whole idea was to sound like not country music, but Western music. Like old Sergio Leone, Ennio Machoni, whatever the guy that scored all of those. Fistful of Dollars, Hang 'em High, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and we produced an album, and it's very it became relevant within the past couple of years. We were way ahead of the curve at the time that we released it, but hip hop and country music are two of the biggest genres in music right now. I mean, they are pop. Pop obviously is always going to outsell them, but you think about Lady Gaga, her last album, and even A Star Is Born. There is much more country sounding music on it. A lot of people have kind of went back to the roots as far as all that goes. Old Town Road is definitely a country song. If you only had to split it one way, it's a country song with hip hop verses on it, kind of, but it's not even really it's not really like he's rapping the verses all that much. All songs rhyme, you know what I mean? And he's doing a voice thing, and he's rapping about horses and his Wrangler jeans and all of this stuff. I think it falls into the country music category. How about you?
I think it 100% does not fall into country music.
Okay.
I would say this is on hip hop. Even when he's singing the Old Town Road and it's like auto tuned, it sounds like Quavo or Future doing a modern hip hop track. I would put this in the same category. I would put Ghetto Cowboy in, which I would not consider that a country song. Bubba Sparks' Deliverance, which is an amazing song,
Yeah.
but it's not a country song. Um, I, I don't know if you remember Nelly's song that he did with like Tim
Florida
McGraw or
Georgia
whatever.
Line. It's the Baby You a Song that make me wanna roll my windows down and
No,
cruise.
is a different one. The one got that all in my head. I
Oh
think
yeah,
about it.
yes.
So that I would consider a country song.
Uh-huh.
But I think there's a difference between theme and music. I've done a country theme song before when I was making music. It was not a country song.
Right.
This is a sample over a hip hop beat, which it doesn't sound super rap, but modern rap doesn't sound super rap a lot of times
Good
anymore.
point. Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to one of my friends, and she said, well, modern country, there's a lot of rapping on it anyway. Like, people like Big Rich and all these people will attempt their hand at rapping. I'm
Cowboy
like,
Troy.
Cowboy Troy.
Yeah.
But flip that reverse. If Cowboy Troy was number one on the hip hop billboard, wouldn't you think it was a little asinine?
Yeah, I would.
and
Yeah, I
Big
would.
Rich was, it's asinine because it's not that genre. It's dipping your toes into that genre.
I see what you mean. But there's been kind of a movement of that, and I wonder if Django Unchained played a factor in it. I don't know. I know you can't put it all to one thing, but that was a Western hip hop themed kind of movie in a lot of ways. And when I say country versus Western, like I said, I feel like this song Old Town Road has a more Western theme to it. Like you said, it doesn't, because country music has gotten very pop. And when you hear it, Bo Burnham has this fantastic song that kind of covers the whole formula of country music. And I'll have to shoot you a link to that because I think you'll enjoy the lyrics of it. But Billy Ray Cyrus is in the fucking song. He's one of the biggest country musicians of all time, right there with like Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I've heard Method Man be featured on rock songs that didn't make them rap songs. It made them
Okay.
rock songs with the rap verse.
Okay. So what about Walk This Way by Run DMC and Aerosmith?
I would say that's about 50-50, but I think you could absolutely make the argument that that is a, if anything, I would probably argue that that is probably about 50-50 on that one. I feel like that's a lot more smack dab in the center of that than it was. And pretty much that song's not even really changed from the original, besides just having Run DMC use the same lyrics.
So what about Linkin Park and Jay-Z?
100% rock.
Even
Well,
with,
Linkin Park is. I don't remember the specific song. I'd have to hear the specific song.
it was the encore, do you want more? What the hell are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's a rock song. That's a rock song featuring a rapper.
And because growing up, rap rock was a big thing
Big.
in the late 90s, you know, and like even Rage Against the Machine, obviously they're rock, but Zach De La Rocha is one of the greatest fucking lyricists of all time. Like, he is so good. And talk about content and actually having things to say. Like, his shit was good, but it's still firmly in the hard rock category. But that's the thing. Even people like Kid Rock. Kid Rock is like kind of this mishmash of country and rap.
Rap and rock.
And it comes into that kind of conversation as like Shaun of the Dead. Is Shaun of the Dead a horror or a comedy?
Yeah. And
Does it have to be one or the other?
no, okay, but let's bring it in that conversation. If would you say, like, I'm not that this, but if like Shaun of the Dead won best horror film in a year, I would find that bizarre.
Would you find... Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I
Because
do.
like, if you step too far out of the genre, it's weird. And plus, I know people who listen to Old Town Road. None of them are people who are into country. It's all hip hop people who listen to Old Town Road. I've never
Really?
met. Yeah, no one listens to that. It plays on all the hip hop stations. I never hear it on. I mean, granted, I don't listen to country stations, but I'm assuming it's not a banger on country stations.
And here on the Gulf Coast, it's everybody's favorite music is rap and country. Like, and it's pretty
Okay.
much like 50-50. There are a lot of people here that love rap. There's a lot of people that like country. And if they were to make a mixtape or whatever, you know, then they would actually probably have these songs back to back. I think Nelly with what was it called? That was it Southern Grammar? What the hell was the name
Country
of that?
Grammar?
Country Grammar, you know. I think he was one of the first people to kind of dip his toes in that. This new song though, I kind of like it. I didn't like it at first. I just don't like that he does that. It's like a Southern twang voice thing.
It sounds like parody.
It does. It sounds like a joke. And
Yeah,
that's what my
like-
buddy Shane said. He's like, it's not meant to be taken seriously in that way. And if that's the case, then it's not really country music, because country music's typically pretty earnest, you know?
Well, and then even if you look at like the original YouTube one that he uploaded, it's a picture of Red Dead Redemption. You know, like it seems like that's what inspired this kid to make it.
Yeah, 100% got that impression, because when I saw the picture for Old Town Road that I'm going to be using for this segment, it is the same font as Red Dead Redemption. And so, I mean, it's okay, man. Like, let's be real about it. Elvis Presley got in trouble for appropriating black culture. for years and years and years. I mean, we talked about hip hop at the beginning of this conversation. Both of us, huge hip hop heads. Does that is that appropriation? And if it is or it isn't, why shouldn't he be able to take something that is traditionally seen as a white kind of synonymously white American thing and put his own spin on it and use it?
Well, I think he 100% should. First of all, there is the Wrangler outcry. I don't know
That's
if you've
what
heard about
I
this.
wanted you to bring that up also.
Man, which apparently white people are mad at this kid because the Wrangler's doing a collab and they're calling it cowboy cultural appropriation. Get the fuck out of here. You know, it's like it's too much. But this kid absolutely should be able to take it and put a spin on it. And I think he should be on the pop charts 100%. But I also understand their decision to be like, well, this really isn't country. It's like a pop country rap hybrid, but it's not country.
There was that time when supposedly Tommy Hilfiger said that he didn't want black people wearing his clothes, which was also bullshit. Like that never exactly happened that way. And this whole Wranglers thing, people being outraged, it's like, look, dude, if you don't ride a horse and you don't have a farm and you wear a cowboy hat, you're fucking appropriating country culture.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the same thing as all the rich kids who, like, I don't care what race you are, but rich kids. My wife was watching like Growing Up Hip Hop or whatever that show, and these kids are multimillionaires walking around like they're street cats, and I'm like you're culturally appropriating hood culture. You know, we all do that. That's kind of what America does.
Well, and we are a melting pot, and that's why I think I'm so open to it, and that's why I don't really like, you know, weebs. That's an American thing in a lot of ways. It's these people that love Japanese culture, and I understand. Like a lot of times we lack. I don't mean to speak generally. A lot of Americans lack a real strong cultural identity. Like if you're an Irish American, you've got that. But if you're like several generations just American, the most Americana thing is Westerns, cowboys, and then later on there was like the gangsters, the mob,
And hip hop's a huge American thing too.
It is. And then when you listen to rappers and they like look at Lucky Luciano and a lot of these really well-known American gangsters, and they Scarface, like even if it's pop culture stuff, they've used that kind of stuff in especially like Master P, The Last Don, like they used a lot of that kind of like recalling of the Prohibition era gangsters and stuff like that. So I say we should all be able to borrow from each other liberally and embrace it as part of all of our culture. I think I fall on the other side of it from you, totally understanding where you're coming from. I do feel like there's enough country in it to put it on the country music charts.
I agree about all of us borrowing. I hear that song and I don't hear a country song. I hear a hip hop song with a country theme. That's what I hear when I listen to it.
So if we took Lil Nas X out of the song, what do you have?
Well, it's still a very, very hip hop beat. I mean, with the bass drums and everything in it, the kick drums, it's very, very hip hop. And because there is a version without Billy Ray Cyrus,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the first version. And that's the remix with Billy Ray Cyrus. So if you take Billy Ray Cyrus off it, which is what the original song is, I definitely even more fall inside, because you hear that auto-tune hooked, and that's modern hip hop. That is not like country to me at all.
Yeah,
I just don't I don't hear it in there. I literally put this in the same time as "You Better Count Your Money, Boy" with the ghetto cowboy thing.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with more examples of.
There's not a lot. The only ones I can think of are hip hop, and even like I said, that Nelly, "It's All in My Head." I actually consider that a country song more than a hip hop song.
Yes, definitely, and I understand why for sure.
And there's no Western theme, because I think a lot of times people get themes and genre mixed up. Like it's the aliens debate. Aliens, the Alien film is a horror film with an alien theme, with a sci-fi theme.
Sure.
And I feel like this is kind of in that category. This is more of a hip hop pop song with a Western theme, not necessarily a hip hop, not necessarily a Western song with some hip hop in it, you know? Like, and I feel like that's the difference for me. And I think it kind of depends on where you fall on the view of the theme versus the song itself. Now, if you took out the lyrics of Old Town Road and it was talking about, sounded exactly the same, but he's talking about, you know, cars and guns and women, would it still be a Western song?
Right. Right.
Like, to me, it wouldn't. And that's the only thing that makes it country is the theme to me.
Yeah, I'm sitting here scrolling down the list here, and there really aren't a bunch of like
There's not a lot.
Good examples of it. No. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I
don't think Old Town Road's a good example of it either, to be completely honest.
And I think looking down this list, I think my favorite one is that Florida Georgia Line and Nelly song. I think that one was actually a pretty good mix of the two of them. Not a song I'll ride out to or anything like that, but you know.
Yeah, I'm not a big Lil Nas fan. I'm definitely not a big country fan, and I think anyone who's offended by the Wrangler thing is a fucking moron. And that, to me, that does seem racist. That part of it does seem racist, where they're like boycotting Wrangler because they're working with this kid. I'm like, he says Wrangler in the song. Why would they not do it?
Yeah. So from April 6th, it does say Billboard may revisit decision to remove Old Town Road from the country chart. It's not going to hurt this kid, though. Like, regardless, This is like the biggest song in the country right now, or at least one of them, you know?
Well, and the thing is, odds are, no matter what this decision is, I highly doubt this kid's going to transition into a long career. I think this is probably going to be his moment, you know, like, I don't think this is going to change whether it's on. He's going to make a ton of money off this one track.
Despite the mounting pressure, will not be adding to... Yeah, it's basically saying that their initial decision to remove Old Town Road from the hot country songs could be revisited, a representative wrote. I don't care all that much either way.
No, we sounded all passionate. I could give two fucks about it.
Yeah, no, and the conversation around it, I like. I just feel like it doesn't matter where you classify stuff. It's that same kind of thing, like you were saying about best horror. Even if Shaun of the Dead won best horror or best comedy, neither of those take away from the art, from the quality of it, or anything like that. I feel like
it kind of reminds me of, like, people get offended when I say people say Avatar: The Last Airbender is their favorite anime, and I'm like, well, it's not anime. And people take it as like I'm shitting on it. No, I'm not shitting on it. I'm not talking about the quality at all. I'm just talking about the classification. That's kind of how I feel with Old Town Road. When I say it's not country, I'm not talking about the quality of it.
Why is Avatar: The Last Airbender not anime?
Because it's not made in Japan. The definition of anime is Japanese animation.
Who made it?
It's American made.
Oh, okay.
But it's anime themed. It's anime inspired.
So it's like saying the Boondocks is animated or something.
Yeah, exactly. The Boondocks not anime. It's anime inspired with an anime art style, which is awesome. It's a cool melting pot, which I think is great.
Yeah.
You know, cross-pollination is awesome. I'm one of those people who's all for it. I just think sometimes when you say something about the classifications, people think it's a loaded statement about the quality, and that's never my intentions. Like, Avatar: Last Airbender isn't anime, but that's not saying anything about the show and its quality. You know, neither is the original X-Men animated series, and it's phenomenal.
So, do you think that the reason why they pulled it from the Billboard charts was because of backlash, or did they just make the decision at an executive level?
They probably just made the decision. They're like, why is this song on here? This isn't a country song.
But if it gets to number fucking 10 on the country western Billboard music charts, then who's to say if it's that same audience listening to it?
So how do they determine that? Like, is it sales versus what genre it's classified under?
That's a real good question.
Because I think that's all it is. It's just sales. It's just sales, whether it's in pop or whatever. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would have to look into that. I guess it's how they categorize it, first of all, and then sales, like you said. Like I guess that's probably the best
Yeah,
answer
so that's
for
what
it.
I'm saying. The only reason it's up that high is because they categorized it under there. If they categorized it under hip hop and it was number 4, does that mean it's hip hop? Like, it's all arbitrary at the end of the day.